Hate speech. What is it? What's being done about it? How has that helped? And what should we do about it? I'm John Black, and this is Rude Awakening. Alright, welcome to Rude Awakening. I'm John. And today I want to talk about hate speech. First, what is hate speech? Your guess is good as mine, because I don't know. The reason I don't know is because we have a lot of different definitions of what hate speech is, and a lot of people who are in positions of power who have defined hate speech. But then when it comes to the actions they take, hate speech looks a whole lot different, takes on a whole new meaning. Here's what I mean. If you look at Twitter, you look at Facebook, you look at YouTube, they have their definitions of hate speech. Their definitions include things like racism. Shouldn't say anything racist. They include things like, saying that disabled people are retarded. That kind of stuff. They don't want you to say that kind of stuff. And that's reasonable. They're private companies who can set their own rules, and that makes sense. I wouldn't want anybody being racist on my platform either. But then, their actions speak a lot differently. Let's take Twitter, for example. Recently, Twitter banned a feminist for saying men are not women because of this whole trans thing. Transgendered people competing in sports with women and destroying them. And so this feminist said men are not women. That was flagged as hate speech and taken down. Which I can kind of see that. Maybe you're talking bad against a marginalized group of people. Whatever. But then you have this incident with the kid wearing the MAGA hat, where he was harassing a Native American. And celebrities got on Twitter and said terrible things. They wanted the names and the addresses of these kids. They wanted to dox these kids. They told their followers to go find out who they are. They even went as far as saying that that would be a good school for a school shooting. That wasn't taken down. You could probably still find that on Twitter right now. That wasn't removed. Somehow, those things were not considered hate speech, but when you say men are not women, that's hate speech. That's what I'm talking about. Is you have these definitions that only seem to apply in one direction. These definitions where we don't want anyone talking hateful against anybody else unless it's a MAGA hat wearing white kid. Then it's okay. Then it's fine to talk about shooting up their school. Which, I don't know how that wasn't considered some kind of call to action. Some kind of terroristic threat. Instead, it's, whatever. It's fine. The UK, Europe, actually, over there, they had some political leader who said he wanted his enemies taken off of YouTube. Otherwise, he'd use his power to take YouTube down. And so, that speaks volumes. That means anybody who follows those other political leaders, this person in charge wants you arrested, I'm sure, for hate speech. Wants YouTube taken down. Over in the UK, they have a police force specifically dedicated to hate speech. They arrested a guy singing karaoke. He was singing Kung Fu Fighting, and an Asian guy walked by. And it was considered hate speech, so he was arrested. There was a girl who posted song lyrics on her Facebook. Somebody else's lyrics. Someone else came up with this speech. She posted it on Facebook, and they arrested her. Literally arrested her. Okay? She had to deal with the judicial system over there, which I'm sure is just as efficient as their hate speech police force. And so we have all these actions that are being taken against something that isn't clearly defined. Something that if you take the actions, if you take their actions and use that as a definition, if you're on the right, you've committed hate speech just by having a different opinion than everyone on the left. That's the definition of their actions. How has this helped? How has banning hate speech helped? How has banning it on Twitter and on Facebook and on YouTube helped the internet? It hasn't. Hate speech is still there. People still get bullied on the internet. I'm sure that if you go around Facebook, where they've been censoring all kinds of people, get on Twitter, where they censor all kinds of people, I'm sure you can still find gory, terrible things on the internet. You can still find it all over YouTube and all over Facebook, and yet YouTube demonetizes anything that has a right-wing connotation. Any kind of right-wing anything, YouTube demonetizes. They have time for that, but they don't have time to get a ton of this stuff off of their kids app. I know the Momo thing was a myth that was just spread around, but there's still other stuff on there. You can still find everything on YouTube. You can still find all kinds of stuff on Facebook. It hasn't helped the internet at all. What about in the UK? The UK has banned hate speech. What has it done for them? Nothing. It's kept their violent crime rate on the rise. They've been pushing hate speech banning and all of that since about 2014. We're still seeing more and more violent crime in the UK. People getting stabbed all the time, and rape. Rape is going way up. All kinds of rape over there in the UK. And yet we're focused on speech. That's the problem I see here. What should we do about hate speech? Nothing. We shouldn't be so focused on speech. We shouldn't have so many issues with things people say. You know how you stop hate speech? You know how you stop that guy on Facebook who keeps saying racist things and terrible things? You think in your own brain, this person is an ignorant, stupid person. I'm going to not listen to them. Problem solved. That's it. All you have to do is not listen to these people and realize they are dumb people. People who bully on Facebook and stuff like that, we should probably take action against that, especially if you go to school and deal with these people all the time. But honestly, if you have that racist guy at work, if you have that terrible person at work who thinks that everyone with a mental illness ought to be put down, if you have these terrible human beings around you, then don't be around them. It's easy to ignore people at work. It's easy to go to HR and say, hey, this guy's a pretty big racist and has said very racist things. I don't like listening to that. Okay? It's really easy to not have terrible people in your life without the government intervening. It's easy. I think some of the hate speech thing comes from our hate of criticism. We don't like being criticized. We don't like being told, hey, you're not very good at this. Maybe you should improve. We don't like that. So, I think people start taking that the wrong way. And so we take these criticisms and we don't like hearing them, so those are hate speech. Then, some people who are like that, who don't like taking criticism, also hear opinions that are not theirs. They hear different opinions, and they take that as attacks. They take that as speech that is hateful, even though it's just a different opinion. That's all it is. That's all most of this stuff is. The best solution to hate speech is to ignore it. The best solution to hateful people is to not give them an audience. Because that's all they want, is an audience. If you give in to every single person who says something mean about you for the rest of your life, you're going to have a terrible, miserable life. And if we give the government the authority and the power to intervene, then things like that girl who posted song lyrics on her Facebook, I don't know her political backing. I don't know her political stance. I don't care about it necessarily. What I do care about is that it is wrong for the government to come in and to arrest her because of something she said. That's wrong. And if we give the government the authority to do that, then they can do whatever they want. You already have people with political power saying, I want anyone who disagrees with me, any political enemy of mine, to be taken off of YouTube. How much more would that happen if you give the government the authority to say, hey, this person's on YouTube saying things I don't like, they need to be removed. They need to be taken down. They need to be arrested. And it's not because it's hate speech, it's because it's speech I do not like. But the most important thing here is when you focus so much on speech, real problems get ignored. That's what's going on in the UK. They have this violent crime rate. They do have solutions, I'm sure. But how much of that money is going into a police force that is useless? How much of that money is going into this police force who is investigating 14-year-old girls' YouTubes to see what NSYNC lyric they posted that is hate speech? How ridiculous is that? When you have people out there being raped on a daily basis, when you have people out there getting stabbed on a daily basis, aggravated robberies happening all the time, and it's on the rise, your focus should not be on speech. It should be on that. That's all I've got to say about this. I could go on for days about this. This is ridiculous. But thank you for watching. If you like what you see here, then go over to my articles. It's rudeawakeningarticles.blogspot.com. I talk about this kind of stuff on there. I have 3 articles up right now, and I plan on posting at least once a week on that. The videos, not quite once a week. So subscribe to this channel, hit like, comment below. Let me know what you think about hate speech. What kind of effort, if any, do you think we should put into hate speech? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, we'll see you next time.